Hello, how ya doing? This is Jeffrey Lee Folschinsky, your legal correspondent of Curiously Crazy Curiosities, and I'm filing a brief of bumbling brilliance as I welcome you back to another episode of Meaningless Minutia, a show that files its findings with the court and somehow still gets away scot-free. And with that witless wisdom bomb thrown out there, let's get to this week's question. Did you know a puppet once legally sued another puppet? Now, I don't think it's news to anyone that we live in a very litigious society, so anyone can sue anyone for pretty much anything. But can a puppet sue another puppet? Well, apparently you can. As Robert Smigel, creator of Triumph the Insult comic dog, found out when he was presented with a defamation of character lawsuit by Pets.com for comments that his creation made against their mascot, the Pets.com sock puppet. In 1997, Mr. Smigel introduced Triumph the Insult comic, a hand puppet of a dog smoking a cigar on Late Night with Conan O'Brien, as a part of a stable of characters that appeared regularly. The rude, in-your-face comedy of Triumph made him a breakout hit, and quickly Triumph made appearances interviewing people at such events as the Westminster Dog Show, the Democratic National Convention, the MTV Music Awards, and even the Tonys. Comedically, these events usually ended with Triumph being thrown out of them. In 1999, Pets.com introduced their mascot, simply named the Pets.com sock puppet, a puppet of a dog holding a microphone, which was voiced by Michael Ian Black, a member of the MTV comedy sketch show The State. Deciding to go all in, Pets.com bought commercial time at the Super Bowl starring the sock puppet, afterwards making him an instant hit. That year, the sock puppet was represented at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade as a float and appeared on various talk shows and even showed up at an Oscar pre-show event to interview people. The trouble started when Triumph appeared on The Daily Show, and when asked about the comparisons by the show's host, Jon Stewart, Triumph endlessly mocked the Pets.com sock puppet, claiming he was ripping Triumph off, also mentioning the poor performance of the Pet.com stock. Not liking that their brand and the face of their company was being portrayed in a negative light, Pets.com issued Mr. Smigel with a defamation of character lawsuit. Unfortunately for Pets.com, Triumph supporters on Late Night with Conan O'Brien gave a platform to respond to the lawsuit, usually taking the form of a press conference that involved him defecating on the legal paperwork and singing parody songs about how unoriginal the Pets.com sock puppet was and the similarities in the material that the sock puppet was using. Seeing the press of public opinion was turning against them, Pets.com had their own press conference where the sock puppet pleaded his innocence. In the end, though, it really didn't matter because shortly after, the .com bust happened and Pets.com went out of business and the lawsuit was dismissed by the courts. Now, as strange as it might sound, this wasn't the only case of puppets being sued. In 2018, Brian Henson, the son of famed puppets creator Jim Henson, was sued by, of all people, Sesame Street, when the Jim Henson production company released its R-rated comedy, The Happy Time Murders, a gritty crime fantasy about the darker side of the puppet world. Sesame Street, not liking the similarities between their beloved characters and those being presented in the film, unsuccessfully tried to block the film with a lawsuit. And with all this legal hoopla begs the question, can't all these puppets just learn to get along? Okay, I can feel your mental acquittal coming through, so I best just stop there. But before I let that bailiff set you free, let me leave you with this verdict of no confidence. A man once sued to have his age changed, so he would have a better chance on dating apps. Just showing you that there's a reason that justice is blind. And with that, I'm Jeffrey Lee Folschinsky saying, adios, amigos.